Good evening. I'm here to present to you the Kingdom Protista and its divisions. We will be discussing the characteristics and the uses of diatomaceous earth in detail. Let's begin our journey into the world of protists. Protista is a diverse kingdom of organisms that consists of protozoa, slime molds, and algae. It is the most primitive of the 5 kingdoms of organisms. Most protists are unicellular and they make up most of the Earth's living organisms. Some protists possess specialized cells and tissues for respiration, digestion, motility, and reproduction. They have distinctive shapes, sizes, and functions, and are crucial components of the environment. Protista are organisms with eukaryotic cells that contain a nucleus and organelles surrounded by a membrane. They are divided into the kingdom of Protista, some of which have flagella or cilia. Examining biological classification helps to understand how organisms are related to each other and how they have adapted to their environment. This kingdom includes organisms with varying degrees of complexity. Fission and spore formation are the 2 methods used for reproduction, while sexual reproduction is more complex and involves the fusion of cells and the production of a zygote. The boundaries of this kingdom are blurry, making it hard to classify its organisms accurately. Protista is a kingdom that includes single-celled eukaryotes, primarily aquatic members such as chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, and protozoans. It serves as a bridge between the other kingdoms of plants, animals, and fungi, an important piece in the puzzle of the biological classification system. Chrysophytes are an important class of algae that includes diatoms and golden algae. These organisms exist in both freshwater and marine environments. Diatoms are single-celled with cell walls made of silica, usually forming chains and colonies. Desmids are golden algae that are usually shaped in crescent or semicircle forms. They have a significant role in aquatic ecology, being beneficial to water quality. The slide shows the biological classification of 2 types of planktons, diatoms and chrysophytes. Diatoms are microscopic single-celled organisms that are transported passively by water currents. Their cell walls consist of 2 thin overlapping shells, known as the epitheca and the hypotheca, which are embedded with silica giving them indestructible cell walls. Most chrysophytes are photosynthetic. Diatomaceous earth is an accumulation of large amounts of silica in the cell walls of diatoms, a type of microscopic organism. This silica has been building up over the past billion years to create this unique material. Taking a closer look shows a multitude of shapes and sizes that have formed over time. It has many uses, such as industrial filtration, agricultural applications, and health supplements. Diatoms are one of the most important organisms on our planet, acting as chiefs of production in oceans. Though small in size, single-celled algae can be incredibly useful when it comes to practical applications. An example of this is diatomaceous earth, which is derived from diatoms and is used in a variety of industries, such as polishing and filtration of oils and syrups. This demonstrates that even the smallest of organisms can have a huge influence on our planet. Dinoflagellates are mostly found in marine environments and are microscopic organisms. Many of them are capable of photosynthesis, which is the process of using light to produce energy within the cells. Depending on the pigments occupying their cells, these organisms can come in a wide range of colors, such as green, brown, blue, red, and yellow. Dinoflagellates are microscopic organisms in the kingdom Protista that are characterized by 2 flagella. One lies longitudinally on the outer surface of their cells while the other lies transversely. They have an outer membrane made up of stiff cellulose plates which are arranged in a complex pattern that gives them their protective and distinctive characteristics. Flagella are protrusions from the surfaces of certain cells, with a thin and whip-like structure. They create a spinning motion, which allows the cells with them to propel forward, such as the mesokaryon protists known as whirling whips. The nucleus of these cells have condensed chromosomes that lack histones, a type of protein. This specific arrangement of molecules makes up the biological classification of these protists. Dinoflagellates are an extraordinary group of organisms, distinguished by their bioluminescence and poisonous properties. Noctiluca, for example, is capable of emitting a specific blue-green light, while other dinoflagellates can lead to red tides, due to the swift proliferation of gonyalax. This can be detrimental to marine habitats, and lead to the destruction of fish and other aquatic creatures. Euglenoids are a large group of single-celled organisms mainly found in freshwater. Their cell walls are equipped with a protein-rich layer, called a pellicle, which give them immense flexibility and enables them to survive in stagnant water. This layer enables them to adapt to varying environments. From this slide, it is evident that certain anglenoids share characteristics with both plants and animals. The cell includes two flagella, one short and one long, as well as a cytosome or cell mouth, a cytopharynx or gullet, and a reservoir. The pigments within an anglenoid are the same as those found in plants, and the reservoir membrane also features a photosensitive stigma or eye spot. Euglenoids are a captivating assemblage of creatures. When exposed to light, they are capable of photosynthesis and as heterotrophs in the absence of light. Moreover, they reproduce by longitudinal binary fission. In addition, the genus Euglena has a distinct palmella stage, which forms thin layers of immobile, round cells. Examining the exclusive biology of euglenoids can afford wisdom into the variety of life on Earth. Slime molds are a unique type of protist, placed in a separate biological classification. Consisting of individual cells with multiple nuclei, surrounded by a plasma membrane, these organisms are saprophytic protists, living off of dead organic matter found on the forest floor. One type of slime mold, the plasmodium, can exist in both single-cell and massive multicellular forms. To get a better understanding of these interesting organisms, take a look at the picture presented. It truly is remarkable. A slime mold's plasmodium is an exemplary illustration of biological categorization. This single-celled organism can exist in two distinct life cycle phases. When conditions are unfavorable, they differentiate and form fruiting bodies, each with spores at their tips. Following meiosis, a new zygote is formed, which germinates and forms a new plasmodium. When conditions are advantageous, the plasmodium accumulates into a single mass with great mobility for foraging food. Such adaptability has made the slime mold a notable example of biological classification. Understanding the biological classification of organisms requires a closer look at how spores form and disperse. Spores are microscopic cells that possess rigid walls, making them highly resilient and capable of surviving for long periods of time. They are often spread and dispersed by air currents. Slime molds, meanwhile, can move throughout decaying twigs and absorb organic material. Even in harsh conditions, spores can still survive. During the classification process, younger and mature plasmodium, zygote, plasmodium, sporangia and amoeboid cells may form. These cells may merge or lose their flagella. Diploid and haploid cells then develop and the spores germinate to form the sporangium. Biology classifies organisms into categories based on their characteristics. Protists, also known as protozoans, are eukaryotes that can exist as either free-living organisms or parasites. Amoeboid protozoans move using pseudopodia, and flagellated protozoans are propelled by flagella. Ciliated protozoans have tiny structures known as cilia, and sporozoans have spores that spread to other organisms. Protists are further classified and separated based on their size, shape, and the presence or absence of organelles. Amoeboid protozoans are organisms that live in freshwater, seawater or moist soil. They use their false feet, known as pseudopodia, to capture their prey and flagella for propulsion. The amoeba is especially important in this group as some members are parasites. Marine forms of these organisms have silica shells on their surface. The presentation contains information about amoeboid protozoans, as well as relevant images. Flagellated protozoans may exist either as free-living or parasitic organisms, the latter of which can cause several illnesses. An example is sleeping sickness, a potentially lethal condition caused by the single-cell organism Trypanosoma, which moves by flagella. Untreated cases of trypanosoma in humans may yield severe symptoms. Ciliated protozoans are aquatic organisms featuring thousands of cilia on their body. The cilia enable active movement and coordinate the motion of rows, which push water and food into the gullet located at the outside of the protozoan's cell surface. An example of such an organism is Paramecium. Biological classification and its role in understanding the life cycle of malaria will be explored. Malaria is a type of sporozoan, which is characterized by an infectious spore-like stage in its life cycle, giving it the ability to be spread from one host to another and cause the disease we know as malaria. Understanding the life cycle of malaria can help in devising strategies for prevention and treatment. Biological classification is a method of categorizing living organisms based on how similar they are to one another. Chrysophytes are a group of mostly tiny organisms that inhabit both freshwater and seawater. Diatoms, chlorella, cyanobacteria, and noctiluca are some of the organisms in this category. They are key to both the ecology and the economy. At the cellular level, these organisms have intricate membrane formations and are able to conduct photosynthesis. Additionally, they can store large amounts of fats and oils. Overall, they are an essential part of the biological world that should be studied and comprehended. Dinoflagellates are unicellular organisms commonly present in marine and freshwater environments. They display various traits, such as oxygenation, bioluminescence, and the palmella phase. Oxygenation is the act of acquiring oxygen, whereas bioluminescence is the creation of light by living organisms. The palmella phase is a short resting state existing between the two phases of a dinoflagellate's life. The versatile dinoflagellates illustrate that the immense range of biology can be further explored through basic organisms. Biological classification involves organizing organisms into categories based on their shared characteristics. A well-known example of this is the palmella stage, which is a common feature among euglenoids, protists, dinoflagellates, and chrysophytes. This is an imperative element in understanding how organisms interact with one another and their environment, which is crucial for comprehending the intricacy of life on Earth.